Today we're cooking one of my favorite pastas of all time. You probably aren't familiar with this, but these are called candele. In Neapolitan, that means candles. As you can see, they're super long pasta. Today we're doing them with zucchini, mint, basil, and squash blossoms. So I'm going to show you how to clean these. Here is, so the flour. So you want to pull these little frills off because they're not really tender. You want to pull these off. And then when you stuff them, you can use scissors if you want. I'm gonna just tear these open. Here's what you wanna see is that this here, you wanna pull the stamen out here, which is that little knob. You pull that out, and then you'll see in here, there's all this yellow residue. That's flour dust, I call it. It's also pollen, which is a little bitter, so you wanna wash this out. So we're gonna take these, cut them open, and then you put them in water. You hold it open with your fingers, and you're just gonna, with your finger, just tap in there, and that's it. Put them on paper towels and stand them up so that the gravity brings the water down and they drain into the towel. So dip, swirl quickly in and out of the water. You don't want them to sit in there because the more you leave them in there, the more they'll absorb the water. So it's a quick process. And you want to get in, dip it, and just wash out the center with your finger to get any of that, those yellow particles out of the flour inside. It's pretty easy. So when you buy these at the farmer's market, ask for them to pack them up. They'll give them to you probably in a bag or a clamshell, like a plastic container. I suggest that you bring a cooler with you with ice packs or ice in it because they're flowers. If you take them in the summer and you put them in a 100-degree car, they're gonna wilt, and by the time you get home, they'll be dead and useless. So to avoid that, bring a cooler so that you can quickly take them from the plant to your car into the cooler where it's a controlled environment, meaning cold the whole time till it gets home. And then put them immediately in your refrigerator. They'll last, depending on how fresh they are, 1 or 2 days, even 3. But I would suggest use them as quickly as possible, right? They will not last 5 or 6 days. So now for the candele, what you want to do is you could cook them whole if you have a pot big enough. They're hard to twirl on a fork, I'll tell you. So what we do is break them apart in pieces. So now it's time to cook them. What you'll do is just start anywhere and you just break them at the moment, or you can do this ahead if you want, but this is kind of a little bit of show for your guests. So right into the water, and you're gonna cook it in lots of salted boiling water, like you do any pasta. So the proper way of cooking pasta is this. So you want an abundant amount of water and salt in it. It should taste seasoned, not like the sea, that's a little too salty. Some people say that as well. I don't agree. You should taste the salt. It should be pronounced because what it does is it permeates. The salt seasons the pasta as it cooks, and the sauce being seasoned is not enough to season the pasta. So you want it to be salty enough, seasoned to your liking, right? But it needs to be notably seasoned with salt. No pepper, no oil, nothing else, and abundant amount of water so that it can cook. Also, when you're making your pasta sauces, always save some of the water because that's your adjuster, because you want that starchy, delicious water to season the pastas. That's the peasant way of cooking in Italy. Next is our sauce. Very simple. So you have zucchini, I cut into 1/4-inch discs. I like it like this because the candele is a big hearty pasta, so I wanted a bigger cut for the zucchini. And then we're gonna put the blossoms, some pecorino romano and parmigiano reggiano, some mint and some basil and some awesome fruity Sicilian olive oil. Perfection. So I take some cloves of garlic, 3 cloves, and it's very Italian to season the oil with them, but not chop them in there. So I'm gonna brown these and then discard them because I want the aroma of the oil, of the garlic in the oil. So we're making some garlic oil here. When you're making a good vegetable pasta, use pure extra virgin olive oil. Okay, so you can see that the garlic is getting brown. So now I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna get rid of it. Garlic goes away, pan is hot, and now we can add our beautiful zucchini. Is that enough just to cover the bottom of the pan? And you want to fry it with some vigor in that oil because we want to brown it. We want it caramelized. So you want it to dance a bit. You want it to dance. See that? So we got a pretty good heat. You're going to season it well. And that's it. Next, I'm going to take some mint and some of our beautiful basil here. And this is easy. Just give it a chop. I like a rough chop. I want it to stay fresh. I want all that texture. Again, we have a hearty pasta, so you want things cut a little larger for your sauce, right? To stand up. So that's it. That's all I'm going to do. All right, so now, don't be afraid to toss the pan. So now, that's our sauce. The pasta's cooking. Now, people always ask, how long do you cook the pasta? So, the first rule is, you can follow the directions on the package, but I always find it misleading. It's wrong. I like my pasta much more al dente than what the suggestion is on the package, and there's no rule here, so just get used to touching it. So pull up the pasta, no matter what shape, and you can touch it. Like this has some time, or you can bite it. Now, what I want to do is we're going to take these, and we're going to break the stems off. See this? Just break them off, just squeeze them off, right? So that's looking good. So the pasta's almost ready. Let's get our blossoms ready to go. So these, I just split the bottoms, you know, the bottom of the flower. I just cut them in half, and then, right? Because we want to maintain their beautiful flavor and texture. That's it. That's all we want. Look how beautiful they are there. They're standing up nicely. Okay, I'm happy with this. The pasta's beautifully al dente. Just drain our pasta. You can throw this in the colander in your sink if you want. Just remember, save some of this pasta water because it's delicious. And it's gonna help us adjust this sauce. Now what we're gonna do is take this. We're gonna add our tritato, which is our diced up vegetables. We're gonna trade places here. Put this over the flame. We're gonna add some pasta water right from the pot. The pasta water you use, you can use stock or whatever you want, but Italians use pasta water because it's delicious from all that starchy goodness. And that starch helps to give the sauce consistency, so it thickens it. Along with the starch naturally from the pasta, that's what you're doing. So now, critical point. We're gonna throw in our blossoms, our cheeses, little pecorino, little parmigiano, and you want this to be creamy. I'm gonna put a little more pasta water in there. This is a critical point. So you want to pull the pasta, and you can see how I'm making this sauce. This sauce is getting nice and creamy from the cheese. Right? Now, the moment of truth. Here's the best part. Blossoms. Look at that. Oh, look how creamy that is and delicious. So the blossoms, you just want them to wilt. That's why they go in last second. And that's the dish. Look at that. See that creaminess there? That's from the starch of the pasta water and the cheeses amalgamating together along with the blossoms and the zucchini. This is awesome. This is so delicious. All right, now. Oh, look at that. There we go. Put a little more cheese on top. Beautiful blossoms, Parmesan pecorino. And then I just like to take whole pieces. I don't like to chop them up. I like the texture. I love all the freshness of this basil and mint on top to finish it because it's so aromatic with the zucchini and the blossoms. They just go naturally together, especially with the Parmigiano Reggiano and the Pecorino Romano. Parmigiano is nutty and delicious and not too strong. Pecorino has that bite that it's more aggressive. So I like the blend of the two, and one doesn't overpower the other. And there we have it. Candele pasta with zucchini, squash blossoms, mint, basil, Parmigiano Reggiano, and Pecorino Romano.